If you really want to start speaking actual conversational French, there is one verb that you absolutely have to know. Today, we're unlocking the power of the verb avoir, and I promise by the end of this, you'll be forming your own sentences. But let's just start with a quick challenge. How would you say this simple sentence? I have a car. If you're kind of scratching your head right now, don't even worry. Stick with me and you'll know exactly how in just a couple of minutes. The key to that sentence is this verb right here, avoir. Let's get the pronunciation down first. Avoir. At its very core, it just means to have or to possess, exactly like in English. It's how you talk about pretty much everything that belongs to you. Now here's the thing. Just like in English, this verb isn't some one-size-fits-all deal. Avoir actually changes its form depending on who is doing the having. So let's break down exactly how that works. Okay, whoa, I know this table might look like a lot at first glance, but trust me, we're going to walk through it step by step. It's all going to make perfect sense. Think of this as our little roadmap for the next few minutes.
Let's start with the one you are going to use constantly. For I have, we say j'ai. It's pronounced simply as j'ai. So, for example, you can say j'ai un travail, which just means I have a job. Pretty simple, right?
Okay, next up is the informal you. So when you're talking to a friend or, someone you know pretty well, you're going to use tu as. That's pronounced tu as. For example, tu as un livre, meaning you have a book. Now, for he and she, French makes it super, super easy. The verb form is exactly the same. It's just the letter A. So it's il a, that's il a, for he has, and elle a, for she has. Easy. All right, so that's how you talk about one person. But what about groups? Let's move on to the plural forms, and we'll start things off with we. For we have, the phrase is nous avons. Now listen really closely to the pronunciation because this is a big one. Nous avons. Did you hear that little Z sound in there? That's called a liaison, where the silent S from nous links to the ah. This is one of those little secrets to sounding much more natural when you speak French.
And we see that same little magic trick with you have. The phrase is vous avez. Now, this can be used formally for just one person or for any group. And listen again for that liaison, vous avez. That S sound just links right to the ah, just like before.
And finally, for they have, we've got two options. Ils ont, that's ils ont, is for a group of all men or a mixed group. Then you've got elles ont, which you use only when you're talking about a group of all women. They sound the same, just a different spelling. Okay, you've got the basic forms down. You're doing great. But now we have arrived at this single most important must-know rule for using avoir. I'm serious, this is something that trips up almost every single beginner, but you're gonna get it right. So here it is. This is the crucial difference you have to remember. When talking about age, in English, we use the verb to be. We say, I am 24, right? But French thinks about it completely differently. They use the verb to have. They literally say, I have 24 years. And this illustrates the point perfectly. The correct way to say your age in French is j'ai 24 ans. I have 24 years. I know it might feel a little strange at first, but believe me, it's the only way to say it. So let's just lock this in. The golden rule is simple. In French, you always use the verb avoir when you're talking about how old someone is, period. Just look at this slide. This makes it crystal clear. J'ai 3 ans is perfect. Thumbs up. But saying je suis printemps, which is what you'd think to say if you were translating from English, that's the classic mistake. Now you know how to avoid it. All right, you've learned the rules. Now let's build that confidence. It's time to put avoir into action. I'm going to say a phrase in French, and your job is to repeat it out loud right after me. Ready? You ready? Let's start with this one. My turn first. J'ai un travail. Now you try. Go for it. Excellent. And as you can see, that means I have a job. You just used avoir perfectly. See? Not so hard. Let's do 2 more. Repeat after me. J'ai une entreprise. That means I have a business. Nice. Now let's practice that golden rule. Repeat. J'ai 30 ans. Which, as you now know, means I am 30 years old. So let's just quickly recap the big points we've covered. First, avoir means to have. Second, its form changes depending on who you're talking about. J'ai, tu as, il a, and all the rest. And third, our golden rule. You always use avoir to talk about age. We started with the question, how do you say, I have a car? You now know the answer is j'ai une voiture. But really, the real question is, what else can you say? Just think about it for a second. A job, a book, a house, your age. You can now form dozens of sentences. So what's the first one you're going to make?